Hello and welcome to the channel and welcome to another Doctor Who reaction. This is Spyfall Part 2, Season 12, Episode 2. Okay, so in the last episode, there we had a lot going on. We had these shiny, glowy aliens that seem to appear and disappear at will, and for some reason sometimes they attack and leave the victim non-human, a kind of shell of what they were, like what happened to the spy from the aeroplane at the beginning of the episode. Sometimes they seem to consume the victim like a pack of wild animals, like we saw with the Australian guard outside O's house. And sometimes they transport their victims to this weird, don't know what it is place, like what happened to Yaz and, in the end, the Doctor. And what is that place? It looked microscopic. It looked like hair follicles, or that they were in the carpet and they were rug fibres. And the fact that the Master is in it and he's made reference to his tissue compression weapon, yeah, it's probably a logical step to think that the Doctor has been in some way miniaturised. But where? What are those things, those tendrils that seem to be growing out of the ground? Is this some sort of Gallifreyan thing like the Matrix or the Cloisters? Didn't look like any of them, but it could be reimagined. Then we had the Master. What a brilliant Master he looks like he's been. Full of gleeful malevolence. I kind of like him. And what's Daniel Barton's involvement in all this? How did he disappear off the plane? And then at the end, the Master just disappeared off the plane, with the words, "I control everything, even these people," or even these things, referring to the glowy white aliens, and then said, "Everything you know, Doctor, is a lie." And that was definitely aimed at the Doctor, not at us, the audience. So, do I think it's the other? Will they bring the other into the canon? For those of you who don't know who the other is, I won't bore you with an explanation or spoil the book that it comes from. But it is something that I've thought about. You know, would I like the other to become canon? Yes, I would, actually. I kind of would like to go back into the prehistory of Gallifrey and examine exactly what happened to make the Time Lords the Time Lords. We know about Omega, we know about Rassilon, but the trouble with making the other canon is you also have to make looming canon. You also have to make, let's just say, changes have to be made to Susan's character to fit in with that legend. Yeah, I don't think Chibnall's quite up to that task. I don't think the other will be canon. So what are they? Also, what did they mean when they said to the Doctor, "We take this form to mock you"? This form amuses us, or your shape amuses us. That's weird. That's a weird thing to say. Now, when the Master said everything you know is a lie, in sci-fi terms that usually means alternate reality, artificial, simulated reality, or something along those lines. So, is that too simple, that the Doctor has been living in some sort of simulated reality controlled by the Master? And for how long? Is Chibnall going to dare to actually rewrite all of New Who by claiming that all of it was in a alternative reality and none of it was real? Again, I don't think Chibnall would dare to do that. But a moment from the end of time keeps springing up where Rassilon wanted to end the Time War and end the universe, the end of time itself, and have his Time Lord brethren transcend physical bodies and become creatures of pure energy and pure thought. And that kind of looks like what the glowing aliens are. Creatures of energy. We saw the lightning, well, not the lightning, the energy bolts through the whatever the hair follicle things are. We see how they can manipulate the lighting and electricity. Are these Time Lords? Are these aliens actually the Time Lords that did transcend their physical bodies? I don't know. And what's Daniel Barton's involvement in all this? Is he also working with the aliens on something separate, or is he under the control of the Master? Because Daniel Barton didn't really seem fazed with the Doctor when the Doctor introduced herself. There was none of that Doctor Who, Doctor what do I call you? He just accepted it and was very defiant to her as well. When she says, I'm very difficult to get rid of, and he just looks at her and says, are you? That makes me think that he knew who the Doctor was, or had pre-knowledge at least. Maybe pre-warned by the Master. See, I've got no answers really. I've got absolutely no answers. All I can think is they're in some sort of artificial reality and have been for quite a while, and that these glowy white aliens are Time Lords. Except they didn't look like Time Lords when we saw that one briefly as it came through the wall, and its shining exterior was dimmed for a little bit. I don't know, they kind of look like Omega did in Arc of Infinity. Also creatures of pure thought and energy. I'm sure there's, I think it's in the serial Invasion of Time, there's creatures of pure energy, but I can't remember what they're called. Okay then, I suppose we better get on with this and find out. I'm a little bit nervous, I've got to admit, because I don't, despite the last episode being extremely strong, certainly a 9.5 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. Typically, two-parters have always had the second part have been weaker. That's just consistent throughout New Who. The second part of two-parters have always been the weaker. I can only think of one example where that's not true, and that is. So yeah, I'm expecting a slightly weaker second episode. I'm prepared for that. I'm not going to judge it because of it. I just hope it's not too weak. I hope Chibnall hasn't let that slide, because last week's was a brilliant start. I just hope that was the first one that he wrote, and then he got on to some sort of momentum. It might have been the last one he wrote, and technically the best, and the rest of the season he's going to go downhill. I don't know. Maybe I'm just naysaying for the sake of it. Okay, so we're going to get on with it now. Where we left it, the Master just disappeared like that. Had the white glowy alien things attack the plane. The bomb went off, which is going to cause the plane to crash. And the Doctor has been transported into the weird place, leaving Yaz, Graham and Ryan to, die in a plane crash. 1, 2, 3, go. You're not.
Please be assured all this will pass. I shall be recovered momentarily.
Some character from Pride and Prejudice.
We're going to die!
First of all, you're not going to die. Second of all, don't talk back to the screens. Obviously, I'm a recording and I can't hear you. Third, don't panic. Especially you, Graham.
I'm not panicking!
Yes, you were. And I did just say don't talk back to the screens.
What do you mean? The paralysis will fade.
The paralysis?
Oh, paralysed?
Not in this realm, but in my earthly aspect.
Right. What's your name?
Are those white glowy things from a different time?
Fragments of light. Or energy. Why are they surrounding you?
They are always here with me. They place a word in my mind. Kasalvin?
Kasabi. That doesn't mean anything.
Do not be afraid. This is my guardian.
This is their realm. This is where they're from.
Okay.
How did you bring us here?
And where is here?
On the
Oh, the master's off.
I was afraid.
I've just been notified. My plane's about to land at its programmed destination.
They can't have survived.
Me, everything was foolproof. What's gone wrong?
Watch your tone, Mr. Barton. I'm not your employee.
I'm your master.
I am bound never to reveal my secrets. Go about your day, knowing that you may tell people you were privileged to witness the marvelous apparating man. Lady. Apparating lady! Yeah, right now would be what?
When I arrange for your death, I expect you to stay dead. How did you escape? How did you end up here?
You don't know. Interesting.
You don't know? You're not in control of those creatures.
You just think you are.
They take you, Ada, multiple times. From here, and they study you in their dimension. Which
Yeah,
means you can't
okay.
be in this dimension for long. But maybe they gain an ally. Because I've seen the map in his hut. Multiple Earths. Except not multiple Earths.
Multiple timelines.
Multiple time periods.
Yeah, right.
These
That makes more
creatures are
sense.
alien spies on Earth. They're spies through time. Through history.
But what are they?
Starting with you. What are you doing? The man from the Adelaide Gallery will be coming for me. Deep breath. Ada, no!
Oh. That wasn't meant to happen. Oh my god, they're in First World War.
Be safe. I said don't move.
Second World War.
We're here by accident. Humour me.
Paris, 1943.
She could have easily guessed that.
It's a patrol.
Yep. He's infiltrating, isn't he?
I know you're here. I will find you.
But how's he doing that? How is he knowing where she is and infiltrating enough to...
Especially you, Doctor.
But the master tracked me down, and now he wants me dead, whereas I am a big fan of being alive. Ada, are you alright?
Yeah, you shouldn't have really stopped to make a phone call, should you?
Sorry, gents. It's you who's getting down on the floor. Hands down and on the floor. Don't make me do the old soft shoe shuffle.
Wasn't so stupid. She made a call knowing that you come for us.
Oh.
Now we're taking your phones and we're gonna raid your GPS. How's that for smart?
Ryan, don't tell him the plan.
Sorry, I got a bit carried away.
Oh, this is funny.
It's cold up here. It's worse than Jodrell Bank.
Did I ever apologise for that? Good.
How's his shoulder?
Brilliant reference, brilliant.
Painful.
How does that fit here?
She did say look for something anomalous.
When does all this stop for you? The games,
Never.
the betrayals, the killing.
Why would it stop? And how else would I get your attention? When did you last go home?
What do you mean?
took a trip home. To Gallifrey. Pulverized. Burned. Nuked. All of the above.
Really?
Someone destroyed it. Our home.
Who?
Razed to the ground. Everyone killed.
You're lying.
She never saved it.
Should really take a look.
Oh wait, you won't be able to. I just thought I'd let you know before I...
Can you hear voices?
Why are there troops coming up the stairs?
Oh, that's me. I'm one of Blight's bravest radio operators. Very good at sending messages, particularly fake ones.
Oh, thank you for carrying our cameras in your pockets, for putting our microphones in your bedrooms, for signing up your kids, handing them our devices. We told you, of course your lives are private. Of course your data's safe. And you believed us. You kept clicking agree. And now, we can do anything. Welcome to the end of your lives.
So this is what...
Whose issue on the machine?
It doesn't make any difference.
Cufflinks!
Move away.
Can't let go of it.
Uh-oh.
First her, then you. Then you. Don't do this.
Why has it stopped?
Those creatures do the dirty work, and once they're done, I get rid of them, having destroyed your precious human race in the process. Win-win-win.
Oh, they're not happy now.
That's your name. Don't wear it out. That's the trouble with modern technology. You never know when you're being spied upon.
Back to that place.
When did you last go home? You should really take a look.
Okay. Is she going to go and take a look? She is. She's going to go and take a look, isn't she? Is it burned? Oh my God, it is. What happened? The Daleks? Did the Time War start again? How?
When I said someone did that,
It was him.
obviously I meant
I did it.
I did. I had to make them pay for what I discovered.
What did you discover?
Everything we were told was a lie. We're not who we think.
What?
You or I. Whole existence of our species built on the lie of the timeless child.
The Timeless Child has come back again.
I tell you more.
But I won't.
But why would I make it easy for you? It wasn't for me.
Well, I'm not going to make any major comments now. I'm going to watch it again before I do my outro. But I would just like to say that that was at least as strong from first impressions. That was a brilliant episode. A lot more build up, a lot more character development. Even the dialogue between Yaz, Ryan and Graham didn't seem forced. It seemed quite natural, and that's quite an improvement for Chibnall. The music was outstanding, as it always is. Yeah, And then we've got a load of Gallifreyan stuff to mull over. What could possibly be meant by the Timeless Child? Who is the Timeless Child? What did he mean by the whole founding fathers of Gallifrey myth is a lie? Could he be referring to the other? Could the Timeless Child be in fact Susan? I mean, they're the obvious ones, but possibly not. Maybe the Timeless Child is the Doctor, or even the Master, or even any of the Time Lords could be the Timeless Child. Okay, I don't know. Well, they can discover that the Time Lords only discovered time travel like 30 minutes ago. Some timey-wimey problem. I don't know. This leads so many questions. And I'm hoping they're not going to leave it all the way to the very last episode before they resolve any of this. Mostly because I do like this Master and would like to see him again this season. But moreover, I'd like to keep that momentum going with this Timeless Child and all this mystery. I'd like there to at least be some sort of... I don't know what I want, to be quite honest, saying that. I just want a good, strong season, and episodes 1 and episodes 2, both brilliant. Both a definite step in the right direction. I'm going to mull this over, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I've had a bit of a rewatch, and I am still no closer to figuring out what the hell was going on. So, yeah, so there's that. Bye. I don't believe that the weird dimension shifting energy pulsing aliens are just dimension jumping energy shifting aliens, especially not with that reveal at the end. And it's the Master meant that, and the holographic speech at the end of the Masters when he said, I could tell you more, but I won't. Why should I make it easy on you? It wasn't easy on me, or it wasn't easy for me. I don't know if that was cruel or not. It seemed like the Master was just doing his usual middle finger to the Doctor, but I think there was more to it than that. He seemed genuinely distraught, even just talking about it. And I think it was less that and more, you have to see it for yourself. I can't tell you how bad it is. You just have to see it, kind of thing. You have to experience what I experienced and find out what I found out the hard way. I still like this Master, and I still think that this story had a lot of pace, considering it was told over 2 hours. The second part was a little bit slower than the first, but only by a small margin. It's a close. It was a good story, and it was a good second episode. So, what was the Master referring to? I said at the beginning that I didn't think it was anything to do with the other, because Chibnall, I don't think Chibnall would go that far into the... Oh, I've just had a thought. Where else have we seen a glowy person connected to Time Lords? The Watcher from Logopolis, and there was a load of Logopolis references in this. Well, there was one. Well, there was one, plus the Shrinky thing, which I featured quite heavily in Logopolis, but it wasn't the last time we saw it, and it wasn't the first time we saw it, so there was a Logopolis reference, and we saw the Watcher in Logopolis, a glowy white person that was connected to the Doctor in some way. I won't go further. Spoilers. Could all these weird aliens actually be future incarnations of the Time Lords? How does it all fit in with what the Master said at the end, with everything you know about the history of our people Everything you've been told is... Everything we were told was a lie. So the Time Lords have been lying to the entire population for tens of thousands of years, possibly. Or not. It has a lot of ramifications, especially when you're dealing with time travel. Like I said, it could be that they only invented time travel 30 minutes ago. And the rest was, you know, them going off in time and creating this legend. That would rewrite everything we know, even from the classic stories. Would Chibnall be that bold as to rewrite the entire history of the Time Lords and Gallifrey in one fell swoop? Or is he bringing in to canon that which us fans have always wanted to bring in as canon? The Looms and the Other. And that, I mean, the Other was a founding father in the New Adventure book. If you want to find out more about that, some smart person in the comments will be able to tell you exactly which books to read to get the story of the Other and the story of the Looms. I think it's the Virgin New Adventures books, Lungbarrow and Cat's Cradle. But there might be more, and I might be wrong. So somebody in the comments will undoubtedly correct me, and hopefully, yeah, you can read it, because there is a lot from the non-canon books that I would like to see made canon. And yeah, the Looms is one of them. And the whole Other goes side by side with that. So yeah, I would like to see it done. Especially if they bring it in as that's the real history, but the Time Lords were told something different. It kind of changes the canon slightly, but it would be quite amazing if he gets it right. I've just got a horrible feeling that he's going to introduce something that's going to completely rewrite it, and it's not going to be good. Let's see what the next episode, which I'm assuming is going to be a standalone episode, let's see how that fares. I'm starting to warm as Jodie as the Doctor. She started to become more ingrained into the mythos, if you see, into the headcanon, if you see what I mean. Anyway, yeah, I liked it. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. And of course, thank you to all these wonderful people that support me on Patreon. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, go to the link below. It's as little as $1, and you get full reactions to, well, you'll see, this season, last season, I think possibly the season before that. There's Once Upon a Time full reactions, there's Lost full reactions, there's Timeless full reactions. There's a whole plethora of stuff on there. Go and check it out. Bye.